Hi everyone, Evie here, the Greek Goddess of Great Reading. Today I'll be reviewing the final book in the Call of the Forgotten series and the final book in Julie Kagawa's Iron Fae sort of legacy, The Iron Warrior. Waking after a month on the brink of death, Meghan Chase is stunned to learn that the veil that conceals the Fae from human sight was temporarily torn away. Although humankind's glimpse of the world of Faery lasted just a brief moment, the human world was cast into chaos, and the emotion and glamour produced by fear and wonder has renewed the tremendous power of the Forgotten Queen. Now she's at the forefront of an uprising against the courts of Faery, a reckoning that will have cataclysmic effects on the Nevernever. Leading the lady's forgotten army is Keirran himself, Ethan's nephew and the traitor son of the Iron Queen, Meghan Chase. To stop Keirran, Ethan must disobey his sister once again as he and his girlfriend Kenzie search for answers long forgotten. In the face of unprecedented evil and unfathomable power, Ethan's enemies must become his allies, and the Fae and human worlds will be changed forevermore. I can't believe that this series has finally come to an end. I remember I first picked up The Iron King when I was in a Shoppers Drug Mart and I was looking for just a new book to read, and it was between The Iron King and The Goddess Test by Amy Carter, and I ended up picking The Iron King, and then I loved it, and then I just kept buying every single book that Julie Kagawa had written. And this was only a few years ago, so most of her Iron Fae series had come out. Her Blood of Eden series had already been started, so I got quite a big fix of Julie Kagawa in one sort of brief period. But finally the series has come to an end, and I'm really sad about it because I love the characters in this world. They're just all so beautiful and romantic and funny and angsty, and there's just so many different variations. We had Puck, who is the funny jester, and Meghan, who is trying to determine her own power and pick between these two boys. I hate love triangles, but that one I was rooting for Puck, and she picked Ash, and I was not happy, but Ash I kind of like more in these series now because he's more mellow, it seems, and he's not as intense as back when he and Meghan were younger. But in this book specifically, Ethan goes on a quest to try and get Keirran's soul back because he is acting the way he is because of events that occurred in the previous books in the series, something that is taking away his soul one bit at a time at the cost of keeping his love Anwil alive, who is slowly fading. But this is where the courts come into play, and they are starting to prepare for battle against Keirran and his army of the Forgotten. Ethan has come a long way from the first book of this series. Specifically, when he was a teenager and he was really moody and just swearing and grumpy all the time, he's really loving now towards Kenzie and his family, even that he for so long kind of just pushed away because he was so mad and resentful about what had happened to Meghan and how she was taken away. He even starts to care about fairies that are his friends, like gremlins such as Razor and Puck and Ash and other characters that come into this book. And it's such a difference from when I first read his character, how much he hated the Fae. He wouldn't even talk to this one half-Fae boy at school because he was worried about the consequences that were going to happen to him. And now in this book, he's just diving in to save his family and save the Fae. Forget the consequences. And I really like how he grew to be this more caring person at the end of this series. I really like the characters that come back in this series that were in the original Iron Fae series. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I think you can have a pretty good idea of the few that do come in. You're almost asking yourself, because Ethan and his friends get in certain situations in certain places, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, is he gonna come in? Is that person gonna come in? I don't know. There's a really cool point too in the book. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but telling you who appears is not really going to give it away. But if anyone has ever heard of the sort of Russian folktale of Baba Yaga, who is the bone witch who lives in this house that's atop massive chicken legs, and that doesn't sound very scary when you hear that in your head, but just imagine seeing a giant pair of chicken legs with a house attached to the top of it barreling through the forest. That's scary, and that character shows up in this book, and I was just thinking to myself, oh my god, it's Baba Yaga. Oh my god, they're gonna have Baba Yaga. And I loved it that they took this fairy tale character from another sort of myth that isn't necessarily more North American, and they put her into this story. I really liked that. I liked how the book sort of wrapped things up for everyone, even though I do wish that Julie Kagawa would just continue the series, because I feel like she could spin a story out of anything at this point. Just take a little maybe unfinished business that was just hiding somewhere in one of the books that isn't really that obvious, but just take it and weave a new story out of it. And who knows, maybe she'll do that eventually, because I think she realizes she's had way too much success with this series and these characters to just kind of have it all finished now. So I think in the future then she will do something to that sort, but for now we'll just have to console ourselves with the end of this book. And I'm happy with how it wrapped up, because Keirran does do some bad stuff. He does a lot of bad stuff, and there are going to be consequences with that, and the way that is dealt with is still fair and justice is served for him, but it's not as terrible as you might think it is. And Ethan and Kenzie's story is kind of wrapped up really nicely, and there's a nice moment at the end between Meghan and her mother and Ethan, and just a nice little moment between them all, and it was really nice to just wrap up the story that way. So guys, go pick up the Iron Warrior if you haven't already. I'm currently running a giveaway for a copy of this book on my page. All you have to do is comment on my top 10 reads of 2015 video and just tell me what was your favorite book of 2015, and I will look at those comments up until January 9th, I think, and then I will pick one and have the Iron Warrior sent out to you. It's only open to the US and Canada, unfortunately, because I'm not made of money, so sorry to you guys who are international. Maybe soon I'll be able to have an international giveaway for you guys. My Twitter and my website and Instagram are linked in the bio below. Hit subscribe if you guys want to see more videos by me. Right now I'm reading Anti-Goddess by Kendar Blake, so that'll be the next book that I'm reviewing if you guys want to read along with me. I'm Evie, the Greek goddess of great reading, and until next time guys, keep reading.